This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, the cycle tour of Southland strikes rain on the 5th stage from Invercargill to Gore. The Queenstown Half Marathon is to feature a celebrity couple. And we take you to an exclusive preview of the Tally Ho 2 concert on tomorrow night. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Melissa Barton. After a hot, dry week on the road, over 100 riders in the cycle tour of Southland got a taste of more normal tour weather today. They struck some rain today on the 151 kilometre 5th stage from Invercargill to Gore. Sharon Rees has more.
With the departing cheer from the Ascot Community School, riders made their way from the velodrome for another lap of Invercargill. They then made their way to Gore, heading east before turning back for a long straight approaching Makarewa and then turned towards Wallistown. Canadian James Pickley picked up the steep Bluff Hill climb stage yesterday, but was expecting a different challenge today on the flat.
The flat days here, though they're supposed to be easier or flatter, with a change of weather or wind can make or break the race. So today we're going to be super attentive and look to gain a couple seconds if we can on GC and try to take out the overall win too.
While the rain didn't quite hold off, a lack of wind meant for a fast pace around the track. Although hills like this one heading out of Hedgehope slowed the riders down. The tour continued through to Mataura for a fast race to the finish line at Gore, where 5 cyclists crossed the line within seconds of each other. Brad Evans of Dunedin took out the stage, but the big winner was Pickley, who claimed the tour lead despite finishing 5th. The last 2 stages of the tour will be completed tomorrow. Sharon Rees, The South Today.
A grass and weed fire sparked an emergency call-out in Oamaru yesterday. The grass fire occurred at Cape Wanborough above the Oamaru Harbour. Despite the grass being green, it still burned fiercely. 20 firefighters sourced from Oamaru Western plus the Waitaki Volunteer Rural Fire Force brought the blaze under control late in the afternoon. It is thought the fire was started by careless use of fireworks. 2 New Zealand celebrities will compete against 9,500 runners in the Queenstown Marathon later this month. Art Green, former bachelor on the television program The Bachelor New Zealand, and his fiancée Matilda Rice plan to run the half marathon together. Mina Amso has more.
Former New Zealand bachelor Art Green and fiancée Matilda Rice are among the A-list names competing in this year's Queenstown Marathon on November 18th. Marathon organisers have told the South Today the couple will be running the half marathon. 9,500 runners have already registered, but race director Nicole Fairweather says there's still room for more.
The athletes are entering galore and we are looking forward to a big field full of very excited runners.
Fairweather says over 1,000 Australians will be competing this year compared to 800 last year. Runners from up to 50 countries are expected to race on a scenic course.
The full marathon travels from Milbrit Resort, is where the start line is, travels around the lakes and the rivers and the trails along there, and they end up in downtown Queenstown.
This will be Queenstown's 4th annual marathon, and last year's event added an estimated $7.3 million to the local economy.
The Air New Zealand Queenstown International Marathon does attract a lot of visitors into the region. Last year Air New Zealand put on 18 additional flights in and out of the resort, and also we get a good contingent coming by car, vehicle, all modes of transport.
Runners can expect an overcast day with some sunshine, plenty of scenery and cheering crowds. Mina Anso, The South Today.
A new partnership between the Department of Conservation and Peregrine Wines hopes to help protect New Zealand's rarest species in our remotest locations. The initiative is supported by the New Zealand National Parks and Conservation Foundation. The first project in the partnership was launched today at the Peregrine Winery and sees 6 new traplines set in the northeast corner of Resolution Island Dusky Sound. The Department of Conservation says it intensifies the current island-wide network of almost 3,000 traps. Tomorrow night, the Dunedin Town Hall will reverberate to the sounds of the city's music. Individual rehearsals have been happening around the city for months, but last night was the first full rehearsal. The South Today has an exclusive preview.
Just 2 days before the big event, the Dunedin Symphony Orchestra, singers and accompanying rock musicians held the first full rehearsal for tomorrow's Tally Ho 2 event. They're under the watchful eyes of its co-creator Graham Downs, who's proved the rock and classical worlds can coexist harmoniously.
Yeah, the orchestration is born of a lot of study of, Mahler was one of the great songwriters, and he wrote them initially for piano, but he orchestrated a whole lot of them, and he really informs what I do with these songs.
He's in full flight here, conducting the symphony orchestra. But speaking before he took the baton, Peter Adams was expecting a long night.
Well, I've got to get through all 24 numbers, that's the first thing, so it's quite a lot of time management. My focus will be on the orchestra, as it's the first that they've encountered this music, so some of them will be almost sight reading, so my role is to coax them through. A few of the singers will be here, and I'll happily work with them, but essentially they'll be my secondary focus, and primary focus will be orchestra, accuracy, notes, just getting the basics right.
Adams says the metonymic timing of rock music will be keeping both him and the players on their toes. Dunedin-based international opera star Annalise features strongly in the programme, taking on music written by Shane Carter and Martin Phillips. Tomorrow will be Annalise's first singing engagement since losing her voice completely due to a brutal cold. She says she's been memorising the songs without using her voice.
Singing in Tally Ho has changed, it changes the way that I sing, because normally when I sing I'm singing in a very classical, very straight way, and these Tally Ho songs are obviously pop songs transcribed for an orchestra, so I do sing it with a little bit more of a popular style, which actually I've never been taught. I'm classical trained, and I don't consider it something that I'm a pro at, so it is a bit of a challenge to step up and feel 100% confident.
Later on, during last night's rehearsals, Annalise was joined by Mitatalani Alo and Molly Devine. Tally Ho 2 is on at the Dunedin Town Hall tomorrow. But its creator is already hinting at a third.
There very well might be. Watch this space. Yes, it could happen.
Daryl Baser, The South Today.
Still to come on The South Today, we check out a martial arts instruction at Logan Park High School, and we have an interview with incoming Health Minister David Clark.
For all your news from the southern regions as it happens, go to our Facebook page. The South Today, connecting you with your community thanks to New Zealand On Air.
Gillian's Care. They care for loved ones, families, friends and our community. At a time of bereavement, care and support makes all the difference, and Gillians know this. They're here for you when you need it most. From advanced funeral planning to a service for your loved one, Gillians will guide and assist you with your individual choices. Their legendary attention to detail and passion to get it right are second to none. Gillians, caring for families in our communities since 1962.
Circopolis, a crossroads between imagination and reality, limits and possibilities. Don't miss Circopolis, described as Cirque du Soleil's hipper, sexier cousin at the Regent. 12 performing artists combine the worlds of circus, dance and theatre. This is your only chance to see this extraordinary show by Montreal Cirque Éloise in Dunedin at the Regent, 23rd to 26th of November. Book now at the box office or Ticket Direct.
Hi, Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Just think, 80 years ago, this year, my grandfather set up Alex Campbell Menswear right on Cargill's Corner in South Dunedin. We've had some great years, bringing Otago and Southland the very best of menswear for both business and everyday needs.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits!
Oh, help! Don't suffer in silence. Call Sunny Chin, Chi Master Body Technician, for structural, muscular, emotional bodywork. Phone 03 4250 606 for all your pain relief.
The University of Otago, an institute of world-class education and the social epicenter of the city, with outfits needed for more formal functions like the ball and for less formal functions like
the zoo. Are you sure?
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah, Dad, you'll definitely see me. I'm the one in the yellow and blue face paint and the onesie in the zoo.
Motor Trade Finance proudly brings you Rural Delivery. A look at the places and faces behind New Zealand agriculture. Tuesday evenings 8:30, repeating Saturday morning at 8 and Sunday afternoons 4:30.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 15 years. New doors, replacement doors, repairs and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team at 553 Kaikoura Valley Road. Visit www.garrador.co.nz or call us on 488 5676.
Love at First Sniff takes a humorous look at dog weddings and all things canine. Brought to you by Murray's Vets, Radical Dog Food and Goodwood Kennels. Love at First Sniff, 7 p.m. Sunday.
Welcome back. Over 100 pupils at Logan Park High School were treated to a martial arts instruction session earlier this week. The South Today was there to learn a few tips about samurai swords.
Dunedin Seishinkan Martial Arts School has organised for instructor Shimizu Nobuku Sensei to come over from Tokyo. She was able to give Logan Park High School pupils an introduction to the ancient Japanese art of wielding nagitanata. The weapon was developed by the samurai class and consists of a sword blade mounted on a pole. Real nagitanata are rather sharp, so local instructor Phil Davison provided pupils with wooden versions to practice with. Davison believes the martial arts training to be character building.
It's a big weapon, so it has big spirit, and that's kind of has relevance to it for life in the 21st century, I think, because what we learn from Shimizu Sensei we can take out of the dojo. It's not just about fighting with a weapon on a medieval battlefield, it's actually about living life today. And so any situation of conflict, this gives you the confidence to deal with it, which doesn't involve actually physical fighting, but it builds yourself.
Shimizu Sensei has practiced many forms of martial arts over half a century, and now at age 75, her stamina is an example for all of us. Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
The South Today is endeavouring chat with the incoming government ministers and new members of Parliament in the coming months. We begin this evening with incoming Health Minister David Clark. Good evening, Minister.
Good evening, Melissa.
How's it going?
Good, yeah, early days, first week in my new office and settling in, but there's lots of challenges ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Now we've got a few questions for you tonight and we thank you very much for coming in. And one of the first ones we've got to ask is, you've been quite outspoken with former ministers and you've probably attacked them without mercy. So what are you going to do differently from previous health ministers?
Yeah, well, I guess I'm in the fortunate position as a health minister of coming in with a commitment from my government to increase spending in the area of health, to actually resource healthcare properly and to address cost pressures in the future. We have said that the national government underfunded health, and we think by about $2.3 billion over most of its term. And so we've said we'll put that money back in over time, as well as meeting the cost pressures in the future. Now that's a big commitment, and our challenge will be to make sure that money is really well spent.
Yeah, definitely something that I know lots of people in Dunedin are really quite upset about what's been happening with Dunedin Hospital. So one of the promises you had made was like working with Dunedin Hospital. So on the campaign trail, you've made many promises to do with health. Again, how easy do you think it's going to be to keep them?
With Dunedin Hospital, we've said straight out no PPP. And it's the delays I've been most concerned about. I first asked Tony Ryle about these issues in 2014. I was already concerned about delays in 2014. And PPPs actually take a lot longer to put together. So not only is there the risks that go with them about landing an albatross around your neck for the rest of your life or the life of the building, but also the planning stages cause further delays. So by putting that to one side, we're already saving time. No mistake, it is ambitious to say that we want to get on with it straight away. We want to start the rebuild in our first term. But I make no apology for that. Dunedin people have waited a long time for this hospital. It's the last hospital in New Zealand to have its rebuild in a major centre. And so we're committed to getting on with it. We've said Central City, no PPP, and we just want to get on with it urgently.
Fantastic. Okay, and another question is, and it relates to DHBs, that this week you've speculated about sacking every DHB chairperson. Is this kind of thing still on the cards? I
did one interview on this topic where I was asked a number of questions, and certainly that has sent a lot of tongues wagging. Look, I'm going to take advice. I want to be assured that all of the board chairs are supportive of our direction. It is different to the last government's direction. We want to make sure that there's a real focus on primary care and prevention, and also on mental health. These are our commitments, and we need to know that those board chairs who've been taking the sector in another direction are actually convinced that we've got the right way of going about things. Now, it's about relationships in the health sector. Everybody that I know that works in health wants the best for the public patient, and I'm sure those chairs do too, but I want to be careful to make sure that they're on the same path, because there's no point in us pulling in different directions. Some of them may say it's their time to move on, but I suspect the majority have really useful skills and have been doing a good job in really tight circumstances, so I expect the majority will want to stay on.
So you're giving them a change in direction. So the last question is, would you look kindly on the idea of a financial rescue package for the Southern District Health Board?
Look, I need to look and get advice on the detail of all of those things. What I have said is that I think we need to have a broad review of the population-based funding model. Annette King introduced it in the early 2000s, and it has not had a proper review since. And I've spoken with Annette about this directly. She says, why wouldn't you review it after all of that time? To make sure it's actually doing what we want it to do, to make sure that the funding is fairly distributed. And I think that's the first commitment I think that we need to put in train, so that we can make sure that we have got sufficient money going to each DHB, because there are certainly some questions about the way in which Southern is funded that I want to get answers to.
Fantastic. Look, thank you very much for your time tonight, Health Minister David Clark.
Thanks,
we
Melissa.
really appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
After the break on The South Today, we find out which famous Australian celebrity will be at the Great Kiwi Home and Living Show in Dunedin this weekend, and we have the weekend's weather for you.
Love at First Sniff takes a humorous look at dog weddings and all things canine. Brought to you by Murray's Vets, Radical Dog Food and Goodwood Kennels. Love at First Sniff, 7 p.m. Sunday.
Don't suffer in silence. Call Sunny Chin, Chi Master Body Technician, for structural, muscular, emotional bodywork. Phone 03 4250 606 for all your pain relief.
From rare to the recent, visit the legendary Hard to Find for your quality second-hand books. With the largest stock in New Zealand and a friendly book-loving atmosphere. For good prices, buying or selling, come visit 20 Dowling Street.
When it's time to say goodbye to your pet, Heaven Sent Pet Cremations are here to help you through this difficult experience. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today for their care and guidance. Phone 489-2274.
Hi, Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Just think, 80 years ago, this year, my grandfather set up Alex Campbell Menswear right on Cargill's Corner in South Dunedin. We've had some great years bringing Otago and Southland the very best of menswear for both business and everyday needs.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
For 3 generations, the Kilpatrick family have ensured Jimmy's pies are still world famous in the South Island. Made to an old family recipe, Jimmy's pies have been one of New Zealand's traditional takeaway foods, prepared daily on the premises alongside a range of savouries, sausage rolls and cakes. Jimmy's pies are distributed throughout the lower South Island. Jimmy's pies are sure to satisfy your travelling munchies.
Thanks for staying with us. One of Australasia's television's most widely recognised faces is set to entertain audiences at the Great Kiwi Home and Living Show in Dunedin this weekend. The celebrity chef Pete Evans will share his latest food ideas and cooking demonstrations.
Dunedin's Forsyth Bar Stadium is abuzz as the final touches are put in place for the Great Kiwi Home and Living Show this weekend. Australian celebrity chef Pete Evans is one of the main attractions and took time out for a chat.
Sure, so a couple of cooking demonstrations tomorrow. We're going to start the day off with making a chicken bone broth, teaching people how simple it is to make it, how cheap it is to make it, and why we should be including it into our diet because of all the healing benefits for our guts. And it's bloody delicious too.
Hundreds of people are at the venue preparing for the event, which brings together ideas covering architecture, cooking, design and home entertainment, all under the stadium's roof. Events delivery manager Michelle Branford says workers have been hard at it for the past 3 days, and it promises to be a great weekend. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
One of Alexandra's most famous sons has run off to join the circus, and he's just come back bringing the circus with him. The South Today caught up with the runaway.
Former Alexandra man Regan Hunter has been doing motocross for a long time and is now touring the South Island with Weber Brothers Circus. The circus involves all manner of modern acts, including multiple motorcycles racing around in a globe of death. It's Regan Hunter's job to jump right over the globe. A task he says requires concentration.
As soon as you leave the ramp, obviously you've still got a little bit of control over what's happening, but it's a calculated risk, is what it is. Like there's always risk, but it's calculated. Like I know what's going to happen. I feel how my bike is going. I feel the ramp.
Hunter is happy to be back in town and show his friends what his new job is all about.
Got lots of friends from around here, so it's going to be cool getting them to come along and actually see what I do, because not a lot of people from around here anyway have, like I say, I've been riding in China and then in Auckland when I was with these guys here, so it's a lot of travelling. That's why it's so cool that it's come to Alex. For me personally, I can get everybody along to come and check it out.
Ring mistress Meryl Cassie is happy to stay on terra firma.
And I think I'm the only one that keeps my feet on the ground, so I have the easy job amongst these amazing performers, so that's my role. Engage the crowd, introduce the acts, make it informative at the same time without giving away too much, because we want to keep everyone surprised as well with every different act that we do.
Weber Brothers Circus is in Alexandra till the middle of the month and then moves further south to Invercargill. Rudy Adrian, The South Today.
And now look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome Barry Stewart. What have you got for us in tomorrow's ODT?
Hello Melissa. Well, big issue in the ODT tomorrow, of course, a weekend mix and lots of good reading. Some strong news stories as well. Alarming rise in the number of Otago school pupils being disciplined for physical or verbal assaults on teachers and fellow pupils is concerning the Ministry of Education, as you would expect. So we have a detailed report on the stats involved around that story. There's also concern over fireworks, which is again something happening this weekend. Fireworks in dry conditions, not a great combination. So the fire
and winds as well coming.
Yes, that as well. So the fire service is warning of the dangers. So and we provide a little safety checklist as to what you should look for regarding safety and fireworks. So important to do. But the bigger event at the weekend, and you've covered it very well already, is of course the Great Kiwi Home and Living Show at Forsyth Bar Stadium this weekend. So I guess you've done most of the preview, but yeah, there's something for everyone there, and certainly I'll be along. There's more than 100 exhibitors, and you can even win a trip to Brisbane, so I'm looking for that one.
Yeah, me too. I'd like a trip to Brisbane as well. Well, that's fantastic.
Or you could win one of those outdoor sleep outs, so that's pretty exciting too.
Always handy for the outlaws
if you
when
want
they
to
come
sleep
down.
outdoors, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you for
All
that.
right.
And now time for a look at tomorrow's weather.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by Silberhorn Collagen Plus.
Starting with today's southern view, taken of a man-made rainbow spanning over the recently planted railway station garden. Looking at the situation, a few days of cool west to southwesterly airflow will bring showers to the coast and ranges, but mostly dry weather inland. To the southern outlook, Balclutha, Catlins, Gore and Lumsden, it is fresh westerly showers and 14 degrees for all of you. To the central outlook, Alexandra, you have gusty westerly, some cloud and 18 degrees. Queenstown and Wanaka, you have the same but a slightly cooler 15 degrees. And Tiana, you have fresh westerly showers and 13 degrees. To the northern outlook, Oamaru decreasing westerly, some cloud and 17 degrees. Omarama and Twizel, it's gusty westerly, some cloud and 15 degrees for both of you. And Timaru, fresh northwesterlies, high cloud and a high of 20 degrees. Here in Dunedin tonight, cloudy with southwesterly winds, showers developing around dawn with an overnight low of 9 degrees. Tomorrow it's cloudy with showers in the morning that will clear around the middle of the day, and you'll get some sunny periods during the afternoon as the cool southerlies die out. Milder northerlies developing later on, 14 and 7. And a brief period of showers around the middle of the day on Sunday, then becoming fine later. Mild northerly winds freshen, then 10 westerly later, reaching a high of 16 and a low of 7. And in Invercargill tonight, showers with moderate cool southwesterlies with an overnight low of 9 degrees. Tomorrow cloudy with showers and fresh to strong gusty cool southwesterly winds, 13 and 7. And it's the same on Sunday with 12 and 7 degrees. So it's a good weekend to pursue indoor activities. That's our news for this Friday. For the latest news from the South Today team, you can follow us on Facebook and at channel39.co.nz. Have a great weekend. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.